My phone buzzes on the nightstand, a relentless vibration against the wood. It's like an alarm I didn't set, pulling me from a sleep that felt too short, too shallow. I'm 15 again, but my head, my memories, they're all 18. 18 and dead. The buzzing continues, and I already know it's the dance video, the one I posted last week, a silly, spontaneous thing in my bedroom. It's going viral, again. I sit up, my heart a cold lump in my chest. Last time, this moment was pure, exhilarating joy. My eyes had been glued to the screen, watching the numbers climb. 1,000 views, 10,000, 100,000. It was the start of everything, the start of my rise and the start of my ruin. This time, watching the notifications flood in, the little hearts and thumbs up icons multiplying like a virus, I feel nothing but a sickening dread. The phone in my hand feels like a bomb about to detonate. Because I remember. I remember every single thing this blessing is about to cost me. The door to my bedroom bursts open, and there she is. My mother, Linda. Her face is a mask of manufactured excitement, eyes wide, a bright, false smile plastered on. Zoe, honey, have you seen? Your video, it's everywhere. She rushes over, perching on the edge of my bed, her arm around my shoulder. It feels like a vice. I look at her, really look at her, and for the first time, I see past the maternal pride she's projecting. I see the glint in her eyes, the barely concealed calculation, the dollar signs. Last time, I basked in her praise, believed her when she said she was just so proud. Now, I know this is Act 1 of her grand performance. I remember how, not too long from now, she'll be the one secretly recording my private meltdowns, the raw, unfiltered moments of a teenager crumbling under pressure, and selling them to the highest bidding gossip channel. Teen Train Wreck Tuesday, they'll call it. And she'll call it a good payday. I know, Mom, it's a lot, I say, trying to sound overwhelmed, just like I was the first time. I have to play this carefully. My memories are my only weapon. It's amazing, sweetie. This is your big break. She squeezes me tighter. But you know, with all this sudden attention, it can be overwhelming. I think it would be good for you to have someone to talk to. Professional guidance, to help you navigate all this. There it is, the setup. Dr. Morrison, the kind, understanding therapist who will listen to all my fears, my deepest vulnerabilities, and then meticulously package them for public consumption. His betrayal was almost as sharp as hers, almost. You think so? I ask, feigning uncertainty. Absolutely, Linda says, her tone decisive. I've already looked into it. Dr. Amanda Morrison, she specializes in young people in high-stress situations. She's the best. Oh, I know. She's the best at making a troubled teen's life a living hell for the right price. I nod, a small, grateful smile. Okay, Mom, if you think it's best. Inside, the plan is already starting to form, a nasty, cold little seed of an idea. This time, Dr. Morrison's office won't be my confessional. It'll be my stage, and her professional guidance will be my evidence. Later that night, lying in bed, the house quiet around me, the memories come crashing back. Not in hazy fragments, but in sharp, agonizing detail. The final betrayal. It's always the final one that cuts the deepest. I see myself, a ghost of my former self, huddled in my room, watching that segment. Teen Train Wreck Tuesday. My most private, tear-soaked therapy sessions. Words I'd whispered in the supposed sanctity of Dr. Morrison's office, now broadcast for the world to see, to dissect, to mock. Edited, twisted, a caricature of my pain. And then the camera, the network's camera, panning to my mother, Linda. Sitting there dabbing at her eyes with a tissue, talking about how worried she was for me, how she just wanted to get me help, how she hoped sharing my story would help other families. All while the numbers flashed on the screen. Exclusive footage provided by a concerned source. I knew that source. I knew how much she'd been paid. I'd seen the bank statements, the ones she thought she'd hidden so well. Blood money, my blood. The world collapsed after that. Friends disappeared, sponsors dropped me, the online comments became a tidal wave of hatred. My carefully constructed life shattered, and the despair, the crushing weight of it all. I remember the empty bottle, the fading light, the cold seeping into my bones. A final, desperate act to make the pain stop. I clutch the pillow, knuckles white, the phantom ache of that despair echoing in my chest. But this time, it's different. The pain isn't just pain, it's fuel. Every tear I shed then, every stab of betrayal, it's all being forged into something hard and sharp now. Resolve. I get out of bed and walk to the mirror. I stare at my reflection. 15 years old, young, innocent, a clean slate to the outside world, but inside, I'm an 18-year-old woman who's already died once. A woman who knows exactly who her enemies are and exactly what they're capable of. A small, cold smile touches my lips. It doesn't reach my eyes. This time, I whisper to the girl in the mirror, the girl who is both me and not me. You won't be the victim. You won't be the cautionary tale. This time, you'll be the hunter. And everyone who destroyed me, everyone who profited from my pain, they're going to pay. Every last cent, with interest. The therapy sessions with Dr. Morrison begin the following week. Her office is exactly as I remember. Muted colors, abstract art that's supposed to be calming, a faint scent of lavender, and something vaguely medicinal. She greets me with that same warm, professional smile, the one that had so easily disarmed me the first time. Zoe, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, she says, gesturing to the plush armchair opposite her desk. Your mother has told me so much about you. This viral fame. It must be quite an adjustment. I sink into the chair, performing my role, the overwhelmed teen, thrust into a spotlight she never asked for. I twist my hands in my lap, keep my gaze mostly downcast. It's a lot. I repeat, my voice soft, uncertain. It's not hard to act. The memory of that overwhelming pressure is still fresh. Tell me about it, Dr. Morrison encourages, her voice a soothing balm. And so I talk. I talk about the sudden attention, the loss of privacy, the fear of saying the wrong thing. I sprinkle in carefully chosen vulnerabilities, things that sound authentic but give her nothing of real substance about my current state of mind. But this time, there's a tiny digital recorder tucked into the waistband of my jeans, its microphone no bigger than a pinhead. Every word she says, every leading question, every seemingly innocuous comment is being captured. During our second session, I steer the conversation. It's just, I have these trust issues, you know? I say, looking up at her with wide, innocent eyes. Like, I'm always worried someone's going to betray me. It's silly, I know. Not silly at all, Zoe, Dr. Morrison says, leaning forward slightly. Given your situation, that's a very understandable fear. Who do you feel might betray you? Perfect. I talk vaguely about online trolls, about fickle friends. But the seed is planted. My fear of betrayal. It's now on record in her notes and on my secret recording. A little breadcrumb for later. Meanwhile, at home, Linda is ramping up her efforts. The initial viral buzz is starting to settle and she's getting antsy. Sweetie, your numbers are still good, but we need to keep the momentum going, she says one evening, scrolling through my social media analytics on her tablet. Your fans love your honesty. Maybe you could share a bit more about your struggles. You know, that authentic vulnerability everyone's talking about, it's very relatable. Her eyes are bright, not with concern for my well-being, but with the unmistakable sheen of greed. She wants the views, the clicks, the engagement. She wants the money that comes with it. I don't know, Mom, I say, hesitating just enough. It's kind of personal. Of course, honey, only what you're comfortable with, but think about it. It could help so many other kids going through the same thing. She smiles, that saccharine, persuasive smile. And it would really boost your profile. I agree, sweetly, reluctantly. And after she leaves my room, I pull out my own notebook and meticulously document the conversation. Date, time, exact phrases. Her mask is slipping bit by bit, and I'm collecting every fallen piece. The call from Channel 7 News comes a week later. A producer named Mark, smooth-voiced and full of compliments. They want to do a day-in-the-life documentary. Zoe Park, the accidental influencer. They want to show the world the real girl behind the viral videos. I recognize Mark's name, and I recognize the names of the executive producers he mentions. They're the same ones who will later buy my stolen therapy footage from my mother and package it into that disgusting Teen Trainwreck Tuesday segment. My stomach churns, but I keep my voice even. Wow, a documentary? That's a big deal, I say. You're a big deal, Zoe. Mark coos. We just want to tell your story, authentically. Show the ups and the downs. The downs. Yes, they're very interested in the downs. I'd need to think about it, talk to my mom, I say. Of course, we're happy to have a preliminary meeting, no pressure at all. So I agree to the meeting. And as soon as I hang up, I'm online, not researching Channel 7's previous work. I already know their playbook, but digging into their financials, their parent company, their stock prices, their advertisers, any hint of vulnerability. This time, they won't just be exploiting me. They'll be dealing with a shareholder, or at least someone who knows how to play their game. While the public Zoe plays the part of the slightly overwhelmed, grateful ingenue, the private Zoe is a whirlwind of focused activity. Using my 18-year-old knowledge of impending market shifts and digital trends, I start building multiple anonymous social media profiles, each curated with a specific niche audience in mind. Content scheduled months in advance, content that will seem eerily prescient when it finally drops. I open investment accounts under carefully constructed pseudonyms, channeling the allowance Linda so generously gives me, a tiny fraction of what she's already skimming from my early brand deals, into stocks and cryptocurrencies I know are about to explode. It's a slow, meticulous process, building a digital fortress and a financial arsenal, brick by invisible brick. Dr. Morrison's office, session number 5. I've been subtly leading her, dropping hints about the pressure to maintain a certain image, the scrutiny of my appearance. Today, she takes the bait. You know, Zoe, she says, her gaze sweeping over me in a way that's far from professional. You have a lovely figure, but this industry, it can be demanding. Have you ever thought about refining your look? Just a little toning here and there? She gestures vaguely towards her own waist. Last time, that comment sent me into a spiral of self-doubt and body image issues that lasted for months. I'd stammered something, mortified, and changed the subject. This time, I meet her gaze, a small, almost shy smile on my face. My hidden camera is rolling, capturing her every word, her every gesture. Thank you, Dr. Morrison, I say, my voice betraying no hint of the cold fury coiling in my gut. That's interesting advice. Could you elaborate a bit more on what you mean by refining? What areas do you think I should focus on? She looks a little surprised by my directness, but then her professional mask slides back into place. She launches into a soft-spoken, carefully worded spiel about diet and exercise, about presenting the best version of myself. It's a masterclass in inappropriate, body-shaming advice delivered under the guise of therapeutic concern. I nod along, asking a few clarifying questions, making sure her words are clear, unambiguous. The recording will be crystal clear. The ammunition is piling up. And the beautiful part is, they're all handing it to me themselves, wrapped in a bow. The first real crack in their facade appears a few weeks later. It's subtle, just a few oddly specific, out-of-context clips of me looking distressed, appearing on obscure gossip blogs. The kind of blogs that pay for salacious tidbits. I know exactly where they came from, my therapy sessions. Linda has made her first sale. I'm sitting at my desk, supposedly doing homework, when I stumble across one of the posts. I let out a small, wounded gasp, just loud enough for Linda to hear from the next room. She rushes in, all feigned concern. Zoe, what's wrong, sweetie? I point to the screen, my eyes wide with carefully crafted horror. Mom, look at this. Where did they get this? This is from my therapy. How could this happen? She pulls me into a hug, her embrace tight and suffocating. Oh, my baby, this is awful. How could anyone be so cruel? Her performance is flawless, the shocked mother ready to defend her cub. I can almost smell the fresh cash on her. I feel so violated, I whisper, letting a few tears spill. I'm an excellent actress. I learned from the best, after all. Don't you worry, sweetie, Linda says, stroking my hair. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'll call Dr. Morrison. I'll call my lawyer. We'll find out who did this to you. She sounds so convincing. If I didn't know better, I'd almost believe her. I watch her walk out, already pulling out her phone, Probably to call Channel 7 and negotiate a higher price for the next batch of footage. The knife of maternal betrayal twists, a familiar ache. But this time, it's accompanied by a cold, calm certainty. The game is truly on. I wait a day, letting the fake outrage simmer, letting Linda make her calls and further incriminate herself. Then, I make my move. It's not a direct assault. That's too clumsy, too predictable. I need them to expose themselves from a secure, anonymous email account I created years ago in my other life, an account untraceable to Zoe Park. I send a file. It's the full, unedited recording of Linda's clandestine meeting with the Channel 7 producers in that noisy coffee shop, the one where they discuss the initial sale of my therapy clips. The audio is clear, Linda haggling over prices, the producers talking about how to package Zoe's breakdown for maximum impact. I send it not to the police, not to a lawyer, but to Channel 9, Channel 7's biggest rival, the one that's been desperate for a scoop to dethrone them in the ratings. I also include a little note. Channel 7's next big exclusive, thought you might want a first look. Source protection guaranteed, of course. Simultaneously, another anonymous package is sent. This one to the State Licensing Board for Therapists. It contains the edited recordings of Dr. Morrison's sessions, the ones where she discusses other patients by name, offering her unsolicited and wildly unprofessional opinions on their cases. And, of course, the delightful segment where she advises me on refining my look. I include meticulously typed transcripts, highlighting every ethical breach, every violation of patient confidentiality. I sign it, a concerned colleague. I sit back and watch. It doesn't take long, 48 hours, that's all. Channel 9 breaks the story first, a sensational expose on media vultures preying on vulnerable teens. They play snippets of the audio from the coffee shop meeting, Linda's voice clearly recognizable, though her face is blurred for now. The narrative isn't about a troubled teen influencer. It's about predatory media practices and a mother exploiting her own child. The comment sections explode. The next day, the State Licensing Board issues a statement. Dr. Amanda Morrison's license has been suspended, pending a full investigation into multiple allegations of professional misconduct and breaches of patient confidentiality. Her name is suddenly mud, her carefully curated reputation gone in an instant, and then the pièce de résistance. Channel 9, emboldened by the public outcry and their soaring ratings, releases a follow-up piece. This time, they have a source who has identified the blurred voice in the coffee shop recording. Linda Park, my mother, the loving, concerned parent now publicly unmasked as the one who sold her daughter out. The phone rings. It's Linda. Her voice is frantic, hysterical. Zoe, you won't believe what they're saying. These horrible lies. They're trying to destroy us. I listen, my face a mask of sympathy. Mom, what's wrong? What happened? They're saying I sold your therapy tapes. Can you imagine? Me. They're trying to frame me. Channel 7. They must have tricked me somehow, twisted my words. You know I would never hurt you, sweetie. Her tears sound genuine if you didn't know the truth. The panic in her voice, however, that's definitely real. Of course, Mom, I say soothingly. I know you wouldn't. I can almost taste her fear, her desperation. It's a bitter, satisfying flavor. Her first real taste of public humiliation. The hunter has drawn first blood. And this, I know, is only the beginning. She's squirming, and the beautiful part is, she has no idea who's pulling the strings. She thinks it's the rival network or a disgruntled ex-employee of Dr. Morrison. She'd never suspect her sweet, overwhelmed 15-year-old daughter, not yet. Channel 7 is in full panic mode. Their planned expose on me is dead in the water, transformed into a PR nightmare about their own predatory tactics. The executives, the same ones who'd probably been salivating over my impending public breakdown, are now scrambling. Their first move is predictable. Throw Linda under the bus. They issue a statement claiming they were approached by a clearly troubled and unreliable source, and that they were in the process of verifying the authenticity and ethics of the footage when Channel 9 preempted them with stolen and misleadingly edited audio. It's a weak defense, and everyone sees through it. And then comes their next gambit, the one I've been waiting for. A call from a senior executive this time. a Miss Diane Hyland. Her voice is smooth, oozing false sympathy. Zoe, dear, we at Channel 7 are simply appalled by what your mother has done, and by this egregious leak. We want to offer you a chance to tell your side of the story, an exclusive interview, your own platform to clear the air. And, of course, we'd make a substantial donation to a mental health charity of your choice in your name. It's the exact same manipulation they used in my past life. The offer of control, the appeal to my supposed desire for vindication, the philanthropic fig leaf. Last time, I'd been so desperate for someone to believe me, so eager to reclaim my narrative that I'd walked right into their trap. The interview had been a disaster, the host subtly gaslighting me, pushing my emotional buttons until I was a weeping mess, providing them with even more footage for their crazy teen narrative. This time, I know the script. Thank you, Miss Hyland, I say, my voice carefully modulated to sound hesitant but grateful. That's very generous. I'd like that. I'd like to tell the truth. Wonderful, Zoe. We'll arrange everything. The interview is scheduled for the following week, live, prime time. Linda, meanwhile, is unraveling. Her attempts to paint herself as a victim are failing spectacularly. The public has turned on her. Her friends are distancing themselves. The brand deals she'd been lining up for me, the ones she was planning to manage and siphon from, have all vanished. She's desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. She tries to have me committed. She calls a crisis hotline, then a psychiatrist, claiming I'm exhibiting increasingly erratic and paranoid behavior. She cites my obsession with documenting conversations, my delusional belief that people are out to get me. She paints a picture of a fragile young girl cracking under the pressure of fame, a girl who needs to be institutionalized for her own safety. It's a classic move to discredit me, to make any evidence I have seem like the ravings of a lunatic. But I anticipated this. The moment she started her tearful phone calls about being framed, I'd already compiled a package. Copies of all my recordings, Linda's conversations, Dr. Morrison's sessions, along with my meticulously kept journal. I'd sent it all to a highly respected family law attorney, one known for taking on high-profile abuse cases. My instructions were clear. If any attempt was made to question my competency or have me institutionalized, this package was to be delivered to the authorities and leaked to a specific, very aggressive investigative journalist. So when the psychiatrist calls, at Linda's behest, to arrange an emergency evaluation, my lawyer is already on a three-way call. Linda's attempt to paint me as unstable backfires spectacularly. Instead, it's framed as further evidence of her manipulative and abusive behavior, a desperate attempt to silence her daughter. The story takes another delicious turn. Exploitative mother attempts to silence teen whistleblower. Linda's public image is now radioactive. The day of the Channel 7 interview arrives. I'm calm, unnervingly so. Linda is a wreck, oscillating between begging me to fix this and accusing me of ruining her life. I ignore her. In the studio, Miss Hyland gives me a warm, reassuring smile. The host, a seasoned veteran named Brenda Carlisle, known for her tough but fair interviews, chats with me amicably before the cameras roll. It's all part of the performance. We go live. Brenda starts with soft questions, letting me talk about the initial viral video, the sudden fame. Then she pivots. Zoe, there have been some very disturbing allegations made, primarily by your mother, about your state of mind. She claims you're not well, that you're paranoid. How do you respond to that? This is the moment they expect me to break, to cry, to get defensive, to unravel. Instead, I smile calmly. Brenda, it's true I've been under a lot of pressure, but my paranoia, as my mother calls it, is simply a response to very real betrayals. I look directly into the camera, and I have proof. I then proceed, coolly and methodically, to lay out the facts. I don't talk about my therapy sessions. I don't need to. I talk about Channel 7's history. Your network, Brenda, has a well-documented pattern of exploiting vulnerable young people, particularly teenage girls who find sudden fame. For example, in 2018, you ran a segment on Lily Chen, the young Olympic gymnast, focusing almost entirely on her eating disorder. using unnamed sources that were later discredited. In 2020, it was Maya Rodriguez, the child actress, where you aired illegally obtained photos of her at a private party. And now, me. I have dates, names, specific examples. I've done my homework. The research I started when they first called, digging into their financial vulnerabilities, also unearthed a treasure trove of their past journalistic missteps. Brenda Carlisle's composure starts to crack. The producers in the control room are probably screaming into their headsets. This isn't the emotional breakdown they were hoping for. This is a surgical takedown. Channel 7 wasn't interested in my story, Brenda. I continue, my voice even and strong. They were interested in my potential breakdown. They, along with my mother, were hoping to monetize my pain. Fortunately, I learned to keep records. The interview is cut short, but the damage is done. Massive damage. The next morning, Channel 7 stock plummets. Major sponsors start pulling their advertising, issuing statements about their commitment to ethical media. The rival network, Channel 9, the one I anonymously tipped off, gleefully launches a full investigative series, Media Predators: How Networks Exploit Our Children. Channel 7 is their star example. While all this is happening, while my enemies are self-destructing, my quiet financial empire is growing. The investments I made, guided by my future knowledge, are paying off spectacularly. I'm channeling the profits, again through anonymous shell corporations, into a new venture. Buying up the debt of struggling media companies, small ones at first. Companies that have a history of, shall we say, questionable ethics in their pursuit of ratings. It's amazing how vulnerable they are, how desperate for a lifeline. They have no idea who their new creditor is. They have no idea they're becoming pawns in a much larger game. Zoe Park, the broken teen, is quietly becoming a media mogul in the shadows, all while maintaining her public image as a victim, bravely fighting for justice. The final phase of my plan is taking shape, and it's going to be beautiful. The fallout for Channel 7 is catastrophic. Their reputation is in tatters, viewership has tanked, and advertisers are fleeing in droves. Bankruptcy isn't just a possibility, it's an inevitability. When their assets finally go up for auction, a new, unexpected player enters the game, a shell corporation. Phoenix Media Acquisitions, with seemingly limitless funds, makes a bid, a very aggressive bid. The financial world is buzzing. Who is behind Phoenix Media? The speculation is rampant. Then, the day the sale is finalized, the true owner is revealed. I call a press conference. I walk onto that stage, not as Zoe Park, the 15-year-old viral sensation, not as Zoe Park, the exploited teen victim, but as Zoe Park, CEO of Phoenix Media. The room is packed. Flashes pop, reporters shout questions. My mother is there in the back, looking bewildered and horrified. Miss Highland and the other Channel 7 executives who orchestrated my planned takedown are there too, their faces pale with disbelief. They thought I was broken. They thought I was a pawn. They had no idea I was the one playing the long game. Good morning, I say, my voice calm and clear, amplified by the microphones. For several months, you've known me as a teenager who was unfortunately caught in the crosshairs of media exploitation. Today, I want to introduce myself in a different capacity. I lay it all out. How I used my early viral fame not for frivolous purchases, but as seed money. How, using a sophisticated understanding of market trends, I don't mention the future knowledge part, of course, I built a significant investment portfolio. How I watched, with growing concern, the predatory practices of certain media outlets, and how I decided to do something about it. Phoenix Media Acquisitions, I announce, is not just a company, it's a mission. A mission to change the landscape of digital media, to protect young creators, and to hold accountable those who prioritize profit over ethics. The revelation of the sheer scale of my financial operations stuns everyone. I didn't just buy Channel 7. I've spent months strategically acquiring controlling stakes in the debt of multiple other media companies, the ones with a history of preying on young talent. They are all effectively under my control now. The power shift is absolute. The hunters have become the hunted, and they never even saw me coming. Linda is ashen. During a brief, tense confrontation in a private room after the press conference, the dawning horror in her eyes is unmistakable. How did you know? She stammers. It's like you knew everything that was going to happen before it happened. I look at her, my mother, the woman who sold me out not once, but twice, in two different lifetimes. I offer no explanation, no confirmation of her dawning, impossible realization. Some lessons, mother, I say softly, are learned through suffering. And some people get to skip the suffering and go straight to the lesson. My voice is devoid of malice, holding only a quiet, unshakable finality. Dr. Morrison, Miss Highland, the other executives, my own mother, they are all now, in one way or another, financially beholden to me. Their careers, their reputations, their futures, all rest in the palm of my hand, exactly as I planned. The broken teen they tried to destroy now owns them. The irony is so thick I could choke on it. But I won't. I'll savor it. The reckoning begins quietly, not with a bang, but with a series of very polite, very professional meetings. Dr. Morrison is the first to crawl out of the woodwork. Her license is still suspended, her reputation shredded. She requests a meeting, her voice on the phone thin and desperate. She sits opposite me in my new office. The irony of it being the former head office of Channel 7 is not lost on either of us, and practically grovels. Zoe, Miss Park, I know things ended unpleasantly, but I truly believed I was acting in your best interest. I was trying to help you process your trauma by encouraging you to share your story. Her revisionist history is almost impressive. Share my story? I repeat, my voice dangerously soft. Dr. Morrison, you didn't encourage me to share my story. You sold my confidential therapy sessions to the media. You offered unsolicited and damaging advice about my physical appearance. You discussed other vulnerable patients by name, violating their privacy. Shall I continue? I tick off each ethical violation, each boundary crossed, my gaze never leaving hers, and she shrinks under the calm, factual onslaught. I was under pressure. My clinic wasn't doing well. And your solution was to exploit a 15-year-old girl? I lean back in my chair. You're asking for a reference letter, Dr. Morrison, to help you find work in another state. You want me to vouch for your professionalism, your ethics. I pause, letting the silence hang heavy in the air. My reference is this: your profound inability to protect the well-being of a single teenage patient demonstrates that you should not be entrusted with the care of anyone ever again. Consider that my official statement. Her face crumples. She leaves without another word. His punishment isn't a dramatic public shaming. It's the quiet, inevitable consequence of his actions: irrelevance and the inability to harm anyone else. Next, the former Channel 7 executives, including Miss Highland. They request a meeting, their tone a pathetic mix of deference and desperation. They have a proposal. They want to stay on as consultants. They claim they've learned their lesson, that they can help Phoenix Media reform the industry from within. They promise new ethical guidelines, a commitment to responsible journalism. I let them talk. I listen to their carefully rehearsed apologies, their earnest promises. Then, I play a recording. It's from a bug I had planted in the Channel 7 executive lounge weeks ago, during the height of their attempts to manage the fallout from the therapy leaks. The recording captures Miss Highland and two other executives laughing about how they were going to milk the crazy teen cow for all she's worth, laughing about how my emotional breakdown would be ratings gold. Their faces drain of color as their own voices fill the room. Your termination packages, I inform them coolly, included a standard moral turpitude clause, incendiary, defamatory, and exploitative comments about company talent, even potential talent, constitutes a clear breach. Those packages have been revoked. Security will escort you from the building. Their punishment is not just unemployment, but the public exposure of their true character, ensuring no reputable media company will touch them. And then, Linda, my mother. She doesn't request a meeting. She simply appears at my office unannounced, tears streaming down her face. She launches into a desperate, rambling monologue. She only sold the therapy sessions because they were struggling financially, she claims. She was trying to protect my future, to ensure I had a safety net. She's always loved me, she sobs. It was all a mistake. A terrible, terrible mistake. I listen patiently without interruption. When she finally winds down, exhausted and hollow-eyed, I slide a check across the desk. It's for a very specific amount. The exact sum she received from Channel 7 for the therapy footage, right down to the last cent. Consider this severance pay, Linda, I say, my voice gentle but firm. For our relationship. She stares at the check, then at me, her eyes wide with a new kind of horror. Zoe, no. Please, you can't. I'm your mother. You were my mother. I correct her softly. In my past life, when I was just a child who didn't know any better, I might have forgiven this. I might have believed your excuses. I might have let you back in, only to be hurt again. I stand up, walk to the window, looking out at the city skyline. But I'm not that child anymore. In this life, I choose me. She begs, she pleads. She promises to change, to make it up to me. She talks about family, about forgiveness, about a mother's love. I turn back to her, my expression not unkind, but unyielding. Loving someone, Linda, doesn't mean endlessly accepting their abuse, and protecting myself from further harm doesn't make me cruel. It makes me wise. I've learned my lesson. It's time you learned yours. Her punishment is the loss of the one thing she claimed to value, the one thing she so thoroughly and repeatedly betrayed, her daughter, and the loss of the comfortable life she tried to build on my pain. The final piece of justice is the transformation of Channel 7. I announce its restructuring. It will no longer be a for-profit news channel chasing ratings at any cost. It will become the flagship of the Phoenix Media Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting young, emerging content creators, providing them with ethical guidance, legal support, and mental health resources. We will also fund investigative journalism focused on exposing media exploitation. My mother's betrayal, the sale of my therapy sessions, becomes a central case study in our educational materials for young creators, a stark warning about the perils of fame and the importance of protecting oneself, even from those closest to you. Dr. Morrison's litany of ethical violations helps inform new, stronger patient protection protocols that we lobby to have implemented nationwide. Their punishment is not imprisonment or financial ruin, but something far more lasting. They become eternal cautionary tales, their actions serving as a constant reminder of the very exploitation we now fight against. Their legacy is one of infamy, forever linked to the positive changes they inadvertently helped bring about. Justice, in its own way, has been served. Cold, calculated, and complete. 6 months pass. The world keeps spinning, but mine has fundamentally changed. The offices of the Phoenix Media Foundation, formerly Channel 7, are bright, filled with energy and purpose. Young faces, eager and talented, are everywhere. We've just won our first major award for digital rights advocacy, and another for responsible journalism. The irony of accepting these accolades in the very building where executives once plotted my public crucifixion is not lost on me. It's a quiet, satisfying hum beneath the surface of my days. I get periodic updates through indirect channels about my former tormentors. Linda, I hear, moved to a small town in the Midwest. She works as a cashier at a discount supermarket. She lives alone. Dr. Morrison, after failing to find another position as a therapist anywhere in the country, is reportedly delivering pizzas. There's no joy in their diminished circumstances, no vindictive pleasure. Just a quiet sense of peace, knowing they are no longer in a position to harm other vulnerable people. Their power has been neutralized. That's enough. Tonight, I'm at a gala, not for viral video stars, but for teen mental health advocacy. The room is filled with people who see me, not as a fleeting internet sensation or a tragic headline, but as a force for change. I'm surrounded by genuine friends, by mentors who value my insights, my strength. There are no calculating eyes, no false smiles, no hidden agendas. It's nice. I think back to the profound loneliness of my past life, even at the peak of my fame. How I was surrounded by people but utterly alone. This feeling of authentic connection is different. It's real. A young girl, maybe 14, approaches me. Her eyes are wide, a little starstruck, but also anxious. She's just had her first video go viral, a song she wrote and performed herself. She's overwhelmed, she says. Her parents are excited, but they're also talking about agents, about brand deals, about moving to LA. She doesn't know what to do, who to trust. I listen to her, really listen. And as I offer her advice, practical, honest, born from hard-won experience, a strange feeling washes over me. It's a sense of completion, of a circle closing. My suffering, the pain I endured in both my lives, it hasn't just been for me. It's been transmuted. It's become wisdom. Wisdom I can now use to shield others from walking that same treacherous path. My wounds, once so raw and gaping, have become the wellspring of my ability to heal, or at least to guide. Later, I stand on the balcony of my office, the city lights spread out before me like a galaxy of fallen stars. Revenge. It had seemed so important at first, that burning need to make them pay, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain they'd inflicted on me. But somewhere along the way, the pursuit of revenge had quietly transformed into something else. Justice. Not just for me, but for all the other Zoes out there. The ones who didn't have the strange, impossible advantage of a second chance, of knowing what was coming. I'm not the broken girl who died alone anymore, nor am I the innocent, naive child who trusted too easily. I'm someone new, someone forged in the fires of betrayal and loss, but not consumed by them. I'm a woman who took her deepest wounds and turned them into her greatest strength. A woman who transformed her worst betrayals into her most powerful tools. Not for destruction, but for protection. For building something better. The night air is cool on my skin. I take a deep breath. The future is unwritten, truly unwritten this time. And for the first time, in a very long time, I feel something akin to hope. A quiet, steady flame in the vast darkness. And it's enough.